Hey everybody, Greg Pruitt here with Idaho Dispatch, and it is September 24th, 2020. We are live here at the Moscow City Hall, which you can see behind me here, for those that are unaware. So we're live at Moscow City Hall, and I wanted to, I'm actually up in Lewiston for another reason, in the Lewiston area, but I wanted to kind of give you guys an update on what we have found out so far about the incident that occurred yesterday, where in this parking lot there was somewhere in the range of 150 or more. The mainstream media is saying about 150 people gathered here at the Moscow City Hall yesterday to sing a couple songs. Okay, this was according to Gabe Wrench, who we have interviewed, and we'll be posting that interview later on. We interviewed Gabe Wrench, and according to him, the reason that the people came and sang here yesterday was a direct response to the city of Moscow, which has just extended their mask order all the way into 2021, I believe into January 2021, okay? So I basically went and interviewed Gabe Wrench, and then I came to City Hall to try and ask the city what was going on. And then I also went to the Moscow Police Department to try and find out from them, what happened yesterday. And so for those that aren't aware, there's a lot of videos going around. We'll have those linked in our interview as well. But basically, about 150 people came here to this parking lot. And I'm going to turn this around so you can actually see. Oh, I had it and then I flipped it back, sorry. So you can see on the ground here, there are a number of circles throughout the entire parking lot is filled with these circles that are about 6 feet apart, okay? From the center, I've actually walked it off just to check. My foot is about a foot long. It's about 6 and maybe a little bit more than 6 feet, actually. And so what the city said was they found out about the event. This is in the city's own statement here that I'll read here in just a second, or at least part of it. And so what they did was they came and painted all these circles, they said, for the crowd to be able to stand on and to social distance. Now, one thing that doesn't quite make sense would be, one person. I mean, you can see these circles are not very big. Okay, they're not. I mean, it's the length of my foot. So only one person could really stand on that. So if you had a family of individuals standing on these circles, clearly not everybody's going to fit in the circle, and then they're going to be within the 6 feet from the next circle. And so on the city's, I'm going to read part of the city statement here so you guys can kind of get an understanding for what they're saying. Let me flip this around so you can see me. Okay, so I'm going to read part of the city statement. It says, on Wednesday, September 23rd, the city became aware of a gathering scheduled to be held in the parking lot at City Hall at 4:45. In consideration of the gatherings, the city provided an empty parking lot with ground markings placed 6 feet apart to aid attendees in social distancing. So again, it would be very difficult unless one person was going to stand on the circle all by themselves. It would be very difficult for families to stand on one circle by themselves, or else you would end up within that 6 feet. Okay, the main speaker at the event was formed under amended Public Health Emergency Order 20-03. 6 foot physical distancing was required, and if attendees were not able to social distance, then face coverings would be required. The main speaker announced to the attendees that the amended Public Health Order, Emergency Order 20-03 would be enforced. So when I interviewed Gabe Wrench, and again, that interview will be aired a little bit later on because I wasn't sure how good the Facebook Live would be here in Moscow with my service, so we did it recorded. But something that didn't quite make sense to us, was that how are families, so families and people within households can be by each other, not social distance, and not wear masks. Okay, and there's no way that they would have been able to stand on these masks, on these circles and social distance from the other circles, right? You would be within that if there was more than one person on the circle. And then we also were informed by Gabe, according to Gabe, there were no speakers. Yes, there's a pastor, and according to the pastor, he was approached, according to Gabe, the pastor was told by the Moscow Police Department, we are going to enforce this tonight, okay? Last night. And so that is what happened. Okay, so then the Moscow statement goes on and says, during the 15-minute event, it appeared that some household groups were staying together and distancing from others. However, several individuals appeared to be in violation of the order, and the law enforcement officers approached those individuals. Okay, so again, this is where I've seen the videos, and you guys can see the videos. It is very clear that not very many people were wearing masks. I don't know that I saw any. And there were certainly a lot of people who were not social distancing, who would have likely been from different households, right? I mean, I can't say for sure, but with 150 people, my presumption is that a lot of them were not from the same household. And so there was a lot more, at least from the video evidence we've seen so far, a lot more than a few individuals who were not following this order. It goes on to say, upon confirmation that the individuals were unwilling to comply with the order by either social distancing from non-household members or wearing a face covering, 5 attendees were cited for violating the order. Of those cited, 2 individuals were also cited for resisting and obstructing, and 3 individuals were arrested and released from custody the same day. Okay? So that is what happened yesterday. I asked Gabe in our interview, I said, were the other 2 individuals, and it was a couple, were they arrested for resisting, or what does that mean? Why were they arrested for resisting? And he said, according to Gabe, they were arrested because they refused to provide their identity to the police officers. And so from the video that we have seen so far, we saw no evidence that they were resisting in a manner that would make you think, they were trying to run away or they were fighting back against the police officers. Both individuals appear to have gone very peacefully and did not fight back, did not do anything. So some people hear the word resisting and they think, they were fighting back or hitting the officers or anything like that. But the video evidence shows none of that. It looks like the individuals both went peacefully, and the resisting and obstructing was them not providing their identities to the police officers, which is also one of the reasons that Gabe himself was taken into custody. But all 3 were cited for not wearing a mask. Now, in the interview, you're going to hear Gabe say that they've actually been doing these singing events for months. Okay, the order went into effect in the city of Moscow on July 2nd. And since that time, Gabe says their church has done several events. The Black Lives Matter has done several events. And in none of those events, according to Gabe, has anyone ever been arrested or cited or charged or anything under this mask mandate. And I asked him in the interview, I said, what do you think changed? Why now? Why is the city, do you believe, in the Moscow Police Department taking action against you now after so long? And his answer was, he didn't really specify or provide evidence necessarily, but in his opinion, this is the Moscow city's opportunity to flex their muscles, basically, right? To show that they're going to enforce this order no matter what. Now, a number of individuals have tagged us in a picture of the mayor officiating at a wedding. Okay, so the mayor is at a wedding. He is not wearing a mask, and none of the people are wearing masks, and none of the people are social distancing. And so we wanted to find out from the mayor exactly what was going on with that incident, because people said, hey, look, here's the mayor in a situation where he's not social distancing, he's not wearing a mask. And we actually ended up finding a video, and we had some people help us find this video. And in this video, the mayor says the order only applies to public spaces, and that he was officiating at a family wedding. Now, whether someone believes that the mayor is hypocritical for not social distancing even in a private setting, we did look up the order, and the order does specify only in public settings. Okay, only when you're not on private property. Okay, So we just wanted to get that information out there, that the order does specify only in public settings such as City Hall, or in a public restaurant or somewhere where the public has access to, is where the order applies. Okay, so that's just some information for you guys. I was also told he was at the mayor was at some sort of party. I have not been able to track down any videos or pictures of the mayor at a party, and was the party in a public setting? I don't know, okay? But just so we're getting that picture a lot, so I wanted to get that information out there, that is what we have found out so far about that particular picture. So for those just tuning in, we are here live in Moscow, Idaho. My name is Greg Pruitt with Idaho Dispatch. Hopefully you guys will share this video and help us continue to grow our efforts to give you guys balanced news and without the bias, right? I have my own opinions about this issue, but that's not what a reporter should be doing. And our goal was to come here, get Gabe's side of the story, get the city side of the story, and get the police's side of the story. Now, I did go to the police department, and one of the questions I had for the police department is why Gabe, and why only 5 people cited when there was clearly a lot more individuals there. Okay, there was a lot more individuals who were not following the social distancing than the mask order. So why only those people? So I go to the police department in Moscow to get answers, and they gave me the name of another lady who I thought was maybe the Moscow Police Department, public liaison or media contact or something. And it turns out the Moscow Police Department gave me the phone number to the lady at City Hall who I'd already talked to. And the lady at City Hall is the one that gave me the statement from the city on this issue. Now, I did talk to the lady at City Hall. I believe her name is Jen, but I'll get that in the report, or in the article when we write the article. And the lady at City Hall, I asked her that question. And she said, and this was her opinion, okay, so this is not necessarily directly from the police department who has actually referred me to her, but according to her, she felt that the reason that the police did not go and cite more people is because the event was only going to be about 15 minutes. So it was a very short event. I believe they were singing 3 songs and then they were going to be done. And so in her opinion, it appeared that the police were arresting a couple people and really didn't have time to go after more people. I did also ask Gabe if he felt, so Gabe is one of the individuals that was arrested. There was a couple that was arrested, and you'll see that in the video floating around, and they were together, and then Gabe was by himself getting arrested, okay? And I asked Gabe, did you feel you were targeted based on any reason? So Gabe is actually running for a Republican as a Republican for county commissioner in Latah County. And I asked him if he felt like this was a direct target of him because of his political beliefs. Gabe denies that was a reason. He said that he was on the outskirts, and I don't know which side of the street, but you can see here, let me flip this around. So here's one entrance to the City Hall parking lot, and then I believe there's another entrance up here, and there's another entrance right there. And I don't believe there's any on the side here. But he was on the outskirts of the crowd. And he said that's why he believes he was targeted. And in his interview, Gabe actually told me that the Moscow police came up to him and he was standing with his mom. And they asked him, is this one of your family members? I can't remember exactly what he said. You'll hear it in the interview. And his mom said, yeah, this is my son. And then Gabe reached over and put his hand around his friend, and he said, but this is my buddy. And that's when the police started saying, well, then you need to put a mask on. And then ultimately that led to his arrest. Gabe did tell me that he did not anticipate getting arrested. So some people will maybe say, was he going there to get arrested? Did he plan on getting arrested? And according to Gabe, they had no intention of getting arrested because, according to Gabe, they have been doing these singing sessions for some time now. Right, and including at least one at City Hall. So they'd already been doing these singing sessions, and nobody had been charged, cited, arrested up until yesterday. Okay, so if anybody has any other questions, please let me know. I'd be happy to answer those questions for you, and I'm not seeing any in the comments currently. Let's see here. Sorry guys, I'm running through the comments just to see if anybody had any questions, any additional questions I might be able to ask. I gotta head down to Lewiston here shortly, but if I can ask maybe ask another question, I'll see what I can do. Okay, so far, no, not seeing any questions. Okay, so I'm not seeing any questions from you guys. So with that, let me turn this back around here. What were they charged with? So 2 people, the couple was charged, at least according to the city, was charged with obstructing and resisting. Somebody did post a picture of the police report, however, that said they were charged with violating Order 20-03, okay, which is the public health emergency order that requires you to social distance and wear a face mask if you're by somebody who is not within your household within 6 feet. So basically all 5 were cited for violating social distancing and the mask. And then there was an additional charge on the couple for obstruction and resisting, okay, and or resisting. And then Gabe was charged with violating the public health order as well. So the public health order, if you are charged and cited, does come with a misdemeanor charge and, you know, potentially a fine and potentially jail time. So Gabe said also, and he said this in a video that he did on his channel, Gabe was charged, or while Gabe was in jail, he was actually with the male individual together, and he said that they were singing in the jail, and that while he was getting discharged from the jail, he was walking by, and again, this is according to Gabe. We haven't had a chance to ask the police department because they kind of ran us in a different direction to try and get answers to questions. But Gabe said he witnessed 2 police officers in the jail who were not wearing masks and who were not social distancing. And he stopped and he asked and said, "Officer, are you going to arrest those other 2 officers because they're violating the order?" And they basically, according to Gabe, told him to get out. Okay, so again, we haven't had a chance to ask the police department if that happened, if there was any response from the officers who he alleged were violating the order. But there's no video of that we know of. That was just something that Gabe said happened when he was on his way out. The 2 police officers inside the police building were not social distancing and not wearing masks and were within 6 feet of each other. Were the police wearing masks? The police, in all the videos that we have seen, were wearing masks, but I don't know. I do know a few minutes ago I was driving by, coming back to City Hall. I did see 4 police officers. They were all wearing masks and as they were outside. But as far as inside the police station, there were 2 employees when I went in the police station who were not wearing masks, but their desks appeared to be 6 feet apart. And as soon as I walked in, the one employee did put on her mask. Okay, so as far as I could see, of the 2 people that walked in to city, or that were in City Hall, they were both wearing a mask, or not wearing a mask, but they appeared to be 6 feet apart. So let's see. Has there been any protests in Moscow, and if so, were all participants arrested? Again, there was only 3 people arrested yesterday and only 5 people cited. We have not gotten a direct response from the police department on why more people were not cited or arrested, because at least from what we can see in the video, there was a lot more people than 5 who were not social distancing and not wearing masks. And again, the one lady at City Hall who was speaking on her own behalf and not on behalf of the police department said that in her opinion, the event was so short, they were dealing with the arrests, and there just wasn't going to be enough time to get more people. That was, again, her opinion. Now, I've tried to ask the police department myself, and all they did was refer me back to the lady that I already talked to at City Hall. And so I have nothing from Chief Fry. You know, that is a question we're going to send out to Chief Fry to ask him. And our article will also contain, we got a quote from Representative Mike Kingsley and Representative Vaughn Ellinger, both who are representatives here in this district, currently. Okay, so we did ask them questions and they did respond. I have also sent an email to the mayor and to the city council for their response on this issue, and if they have any statement for or against what happened yesterday. We have also sent a question to Governor Brad Little, asked him what he thought about this incident yesterday. I know Gabe told me that he is going on Laura Ingraham, and the story appears to be going national, and so we anticipate this is going to be a very, very big story. All right, so I don't see, is it an ordinance? Yes, this is an ordinance. Ordinance 2020-03 technically. All right, guys. I think that's all I see. Are the circles on the pavement vandalism? Or sorry, in vandal country. I'm not sure who painted. The city painted the circles on here. So for those that just tuned in, I'll show you the circles once again here. So I'll just kind of walk around the parking lot. I mean, they literally put a ton of circles on here. And for those that weren't watching earlier, I walked them off. My foot is about a foot long. From circle to circle, maybe it's a foot exactly. I don't know. But you can see, I mean, they filled the entire parking lot is filled with these circles. And the city says that they put them on there so that the people coming and protesting could social distance. But again, my thing would be, how in the world would a family, so if there's a family of 4, okay, I guess they could each take up a circle, right? Or the family of 4, if they were all standing on one circle, then there's just no way, right? I mean, they're going to end up out here, and then they're within 6 feet and without a mask. And so when the city says that a few people were not following it, from the videos we've seen, there would have been hardly anybody following the social distancing order based on that. And that was our question for the police, was why only these 5 people when there was probably dozens of people who were not following the order. And so far we have not got an answer to that. So we're going to send an email to Chief Fry. Hopefully he can give us an answer on why nobody else was arrested. All right, guys, I'm not seeing any other questions? So with that, again, my name is Greg Pruitt with Idaho Dispatch. Our goal as a news organization is to bring you guys balanced news, right? We're trying to get all sides of the story, allow each side to speak their side of the story. That was something that I know a lot of Idahoans are frustrated with. They don't feel like the news will give each side a balanced story. In addition to finding out each side of the story, our goal is to provide any videos, emails, any kind of context we can bring you to the story that may support what one side is saying based on the images or text or emails or videos or whatever it is, or go against what they are saying. And so that is our goal with Idaho Dispatch. If you guys want to help us grow, please make sure to share our content, like our page. We also do a monthly subscription. It's $2.97 a month. It's just a digital thing to help us grow. We're a grassroots media organization. And, you know, for those that know me personally, I've been on the other side of this where the news won't report something and they give completely biased headlines. And so our goal is no bias, and just to give you guys the news and let you decide from each side of the story what side of that story you want to believe based on what they say and any kind of facts that we can provide for you. And that's our goal, right? That's what Idahoans want with their news, is just the facts, and for the stories to be balanced, and for me to leave my own personal bias out of it, right? And so when I write articles, when I do these videos, my goal is to leave all of the bias out of it, whatever personal bias I have, to leave that out of the news, okay? And so hopefully we're bringing that to you guys, and hopefully you enjoy the content that we're sharing. So I'll be writing an article tonight about everything that's happened so far, and then we'll get the interview with Gabe uploaded into YouTube, and we'll get it uploaded into the article, okay, so that you guys can have that. So that's all I've got for now, guys. I appreciate your time. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.